What's up YouTube? For today's video, with a full light metal ability Pokemon team. Now, there's actually only 6 light metal ability Pokemon in all of the games, you know, so this is pretty interesting, and I thought I'd better do this now before, you know, the next generation or something, and we don't have them all in one game. Now, what light metal does is it halves the Pokemon's weight, so it's a pretty basic ability. And it's very, very niche, because it really only comes into play if someone uses a move like low kick on you, or you use a move like heavy slam, you know, so it's very, very niche. But I wanted to cover this ability, and there's 6 Pokemon, so I thought, why not? Alright, today we have got 7 battles, and we got a first random battle here, and we have got a Pachirisu lead, so it's good to see Pachirisu being used in singles of all things, and Pachirisu is going to be using an electric terrain. So my first Pokemon is going to be the mighty Beldum with a choice specs. So I was a little bit surprised by the damage I got by the Steel Beam, and then I seen the critical hit. I'm like, that makes sense, because, you know, Pachirisu's special defense isn't all that bad. So they're going to be going for a Volt Switch there. Clearly everything is invested in bulk due to the damage it did to Beldum. And we got to swap into Azumarill. So Azumarill is going to be facing the full load from Beldum, and it hits really, really hard. Maybe they underestimated the damage that Beldum was going to do, but I was pretty happy with the start of that battle. Now, we've got Azumarill with Citrus Berries, so I assume it could just be a Belly Drum, Aqua Jet sort of set here. So bringing in my Scizor, that Beldum was health and special attack modest too. We also had Terra Blast, Iron Head, and Zen Headbutt, and Terra Water. So bringing in my Scizor here, this Scizor is an Agility Iron Head flinching set. We also have Close Combat with White Herb and Acrobatics Terra Blast flying. So Azumarill does have Aqua Jet there, and I'm able to finish off that with a nice little Iron Head. It was fun to use a Scizor that was physical, but wasn't like, you know, just the standard Bullet Punch set. My random opponent is Deca as well. I think that's how to say it. Alright, we've got Close Combat, which should do a lot against Pikachu. Pikachu's going to go for a Fake Out. That one actually critted me, so I have a feeling that might have mattered, but that's how it goes, right? That is the end of Scizor. So I thought, all right, well, Pikachu probably has Light Bulb, and any real, even a neutral move is going to do tons of damage to it. So bringing in Metang here, I've got Agility, Meteor, Mash, Earthquake, and Ice Punch, like a bulky Everlight sweeping set. So probably one of the better sets on my team, you could say. So out goes Pikachu, and in comes Pachirisu again. So on this turn, I went for Agility. Now, the Metang is Attack and Speed EVs, and we've got Adamant Nature. And this one has Terra Ground, too, to power up Earthquake, because this team was very, very weak to Fire-type Pokemon and Fighting-type Pokemon and Dark-type Pokemon, stuff like that. So it had a lot of weaknesses. However, Pachirisu is going to faint there. That's good, you know. We've got to get the strong Pokemon out the way. Next Pokemon to come in here is going to be Dedenne, so I can see my random opponent has, like, a theme team here. I wonder if we can guess what it is. Alright, so it's good to see Dedenne, because you never ever see this Pokemon too. It's quite a cool little Pokemon. And we have got a Terra here. So I knew they'd Terra, because obviously they know that I've got Earthquake. So Dedenne's going to be Terra Ground, which is interesting. So obviously they're going to be going for Terra Blast, I would say. So I've got the Earthquake going. It still does very good damage. And of course, Terra Blast from Dedenne. So I would assume this is running a special set there. So Everlight does save my Metang there, and I can go for any move here. So I'm just going to go for an Ice Punch and finish off the Dedenne there. So bye-bye Dedenne, but really, really cool to see that used. If you guys want to support the channel and the videos, make sure you hit that like button too. Tell me what your favorite ability is that's, well, let's say it's a little bit more niche. So what's your favorite niche ability in the Pokemon games? Put it below. I want to see, in the comment section. And you can tell me why as well. I'd like to hear. So in comes CC. That's quite a good name for it. And we got Mossel going for the bite there. So that's going to take out the Metang. It's a Technician Bite. So I've got half my team down. Now we're going to go to Duraludon. So this is my 100% critting set. We've got Focus, Energy, and Scope Lens. And we've got Draco Meteor, Thunderbolt, and I thought I'd put Heavy Slam on there with Light Metal for a joke. So I'm going to get hit like a million times with Population Bomb. Even when it was not very effective, 10 times did so much of my health. So went for a Disrespect Heavy Slam, and since Morsold was such a light Pokemon, even with Light Metal, I was able to feint it. So there was probably a bit more disrespectful than what they, what the opponent knew there. All right, in comes the Pikachu here. Pikachu has a good chance of outspeeding me here. It's going to use Fake Out. So I've got Draco Meteor. I knew that I could obviously live a Fake Out there. So I'm going to be going for Draco Meteor. I do outspeed. I am running Timid Nature. And I'd say, Pikachu has just got Light Ball. So it was never going to live that. It wouldn't have even lived a normal Draco Meteor. So max Special Attack and max Speed here. Terra Dragon. Last Pokemon is Pancreas. Oh no, but Panis. Okay, all right. I don't know what this team, I get what this team is about, but some of the nicknames I don't get. Anyway, so Mach Punch is going to take out, Duraludon. I can't believe I said Pancreas. All right, anyway, Mach punches me right in the pancreas. All right, so we got this Registeel. So this Registeel is a pretty scary set when there's no Ghost-type Pokemon around. And this is a good counter Pokemon to my whole team is Pawmont. So I had to be wary to leave something like this in the back because I knew this would be a problem. So I've got Terra Fighting on this. This is probably one of the better sets you can use on Registeel. If you run a real tanky set. And this is cool because it gets Amnesia as well. So you can make it like ultra tanky on both sides, right? So we're going to slide up a Iron Defense there and get a +2. With Terra Fighting, that made its attack neutral close combat. The second close combat is going to do donkeys. I thought about going for a Rest Air just to show them I had Chesto Berry, but I thought, nah, I'll just go for a Terra Fighting Body Press because this will be more than enough to be able to take them out there. That is going to be the end of the Pawmont, and that is also the end of the first battle. Really cool team there by my random opponent. And if any of these random opponents ever do see this video, drop a comment in the comment section. All like to know if I battled someone in one of my videos. And let's get on to battle number 2, GG's. All right, the EVs on that Registeel 2 were Health and Special Defense, and Sassy I had on there. All right, next random battle. This was a competitive team, I can tell you, and we have a Tyranitar lead. So Tyranitar is going to use Earthquake. What could I have done there? Absolutely nothing. So I was off to a very, very difficult start. So going to Scizor, I thought Scizor would definitely probably scare them out at least. So I thought I'll go for an agility here, get my speed up, and then I can go for my close combat or, get my White Herb to activate and then maybe try out acrobatics. Unfortunately, Tyranitar is going to use Dragon Tail, phasing out my Scizor. So not a very good start here. I'm getting countered everywhere. So in comes Metagross. So Metagross is a physical set here. I've got Stone Edge, Psychic Fangs, Hard Press, and Trailblaze. I wanted to use Hard Press because it's a really, really cool move. So the Trevenant is going to come into my attacking move, and I'm guessing they thought they'd live that a lot better. But man, Hard Press on Metagross hits hard, it's a really, really cool move. Now, since Trevenant's health is low, I have to go for another move because Hard Press, the more health you have, the more damage it does. In that case, Trevenant probably would have got its little berries back with Harvest. Next Pokemon is going to be Gardevoir. So this is the Pokemon that I was probably at least scared of here, and I figured they'd probably Terra this, and it's going to be Terra Fire. I thought they might do Terra Steel or Fire, so they did one of the other ones. So I went for Hard Press here, and it still does pretty good damage. Gardevoir's defense isn't what you call super amazing either. So Gardevoir's going to use Terra Fire, Mystical Fire. I'm going to be able to live that one only because I have Natural Bolt with Metagross, and I also have an Assault Vest as well. So I went for Stone Miss. And of course, Stone Miss is going to miss. So that sucks. I would have taken out the Gardevoir there. Gardevoir can now get rid of my my Metagross here. So bye-bye Metagross. It's probably one of the better Pokemon on my team for sure. The EVs on that one were Attack and Speed. Adamant Nature, max attack, max speed. So bringing in Duraludon, my 100% crit set here. I thought this would be quite funny to take Gardevoir out with Duraludon. So I was going to go for a Terra Dragon, but I thought, oh, I better not. I know that it's a powerful special attacker, and Duraludon's special defense isn't really all that good. So I was hoping I could badly live. And if they did go for Mystical Fire, my Focus Energy crit would actually ignore the special attack drop. So I only narrowly lived there on 18 health, and now I can go for a Disrespect Draco Meteor with 100% crit. So that was awesome. So not only did I have my special attack drop from Mystical Fire, Draco Meteor also dropped at two stages. So I've got -3 in special attack, but I can keep critting over and over, which is, really cool. Next Pokemon, of course, is the Tyranitar. So I'm guessing they're going to try and just tank my move. I really did want to go for Heavy Slam here, but, with Light Metal and Tyranitar not being a heavy Pokemon, it was going to do no damage at all. So I went for the Draco Meteor and got some quality damage against Tyranitar. Now, Tyranitar does have the Citrus Berry, and it's got Earthquake too. So this is a really good counter to my team here. The only good thing is I did do some heavy damage to it, and now I can bring in Scizor with Close Combat and just finish it off, and then I can activate my White Herb. Well, that was my idea anyway. So I got to go for Close Combat there, and bye-bye Tyranitar. The only reason I put Close Combat on here was to, get rid of my item so I could use Acrobatics. So bye-bye Tyranitar. It's definitely good to see that go. Next Pokemon here we got is Vikavolt. So Vikavolt, I can't do much to except for Acrobatics, and it's a solid 2-hit KO until they had another berry. So they got another berry on their Pokemon, which of course is another Citrus Berry. I think they're actually quite a few berries. So Thunderbolt is going to do a lot of damage. Scizor only just living that. I got a bit of Sandstorm damage, but I knew that Acrobatics wouldn't probably quite take it out. Air Slash is going to feint the Scizor, and that's down. However, the weather, the Sandstorm, is actually going to be enough to take out Vikavolt too. So it turned out to be a double KO there. So that was good. I've got 2 more Pokemon left. So I've got Metang and Registeel. So bringing in the Registeel, this is going to be pretty bulky. And now we've got Kingdra. So Kingdra can either be a physical or a special set. So, it's a good Pokemon on both sides. Now they're going to use Focus Energy, so that tells me straight away they're just going to run the standard sort of critting Kingdra set. So I went for Iron Defense. Now I knew they had a chance of having that set there, but I needed to boost up my defense regardless to do more damage with Body Press. So I figured, well, they're not going to use a Dragon move because I'm a Steel type. They'll probably just use a Water type move, right? So going for that Terra Fighting on the Registeel again. I have max special defense, so even with their enormous critical hit, it still didn't even make it a 2-hit KO, which was crazy. So Kingdra is going to get hit really, really hard there by the Registeel. They're going to go for a Desperation Ice Beam to try and freeze me. That is not going to happen, and Body Press is going to take out the Kingdra there. So we have 1 more Pokeball left, but that one was a pretty scary one, for sure. All right. Next one is going to be King Gambit, and I knew they had this already. And this is why they didn't want to bring it in for, because I've got Body Press. I know they're probably going to try a go at Sucker Punch. I was going to go for Rest here, but I was like, nah, I won't be a smartass. I'll just finish them off there. And, Body Press is going to be able to take out the King Gambit easy peasy in one shot. And that is the end of the battle there. So it's quite funny. Like, Registeel was typically the Pokemon I left to the end because it was quite good at just, cleaning a lot of them up there. So thanking my random opponent, Jay, for the battle. Let's get on to battle number 3. Next battle here we have, this is another random person. This is a pure sweat team. Like, this person was battling like it was their last day on planet Earth. I'm not joking. So we've got a Grimmsnarl lead here. Grimmsnarl completely underestimates the power of Beldum, and Beldum rolls it out like a lounge room rug. Like, that was absolutely awesome. Like, I thought they may even DC there. Imagine losing your Grimmsnarl to a Beldum, a special Beldum. They got played. All right, this person had so many counters too, like crazy counters. So I went into this battle thinking, well, I'm 100% going to lose this, but I'll try anyway, right? So in comes Gliska, Beldum nearly takes out Gliska as well. This person really underestimated Beldum. So they got a Tailwind up there. And they got their little Sympathy, Toxic Orb, and Poison Heal. So bringing in Metang, I'm confident I can live an Earthquake with Everlight, because I know they're going to have it. I know they're just running standard sets. And Earthquake even crits Metang, and I'm able to live that there. So even they got, really lucky there, and they still weren't able to fame me, and Metang can finish them off with a Ice Punch. So that was excellent, getting rid of the Gliska, but Gliska wasn't the biggest counter at all. Like, it was a good counter on my team, but there was way worse Pokemon. So here's another one. So we got Ursaluna. So I'm like, well, I've got Ice Punch. I may as well just go for that. But Ursaluna actually outspeeds me due to the Tailwind, which sucks. My Metang would have normally outsped that, and it was very, very hard Pokemon to swap into with what my entire team being a Steel type. So I thought, all right, the only one that could possibly live a hit here is Scizor. So Scizzor's got close combat, and I thought I've got to buy myself a little bit more time here because that Tailwind is going to last for a bit longer. So Drain Punch does a good amount of damage. I'm going to go for close combat because it is super effective, and they do have a Reflect up, which sucks too. So I need to think about stalling that Tailwind out and that Reflect too. So Reflect is going to go for 8 turns, so that's going to be difficult with all these physical Pokemon. And, such bulky Pokemon too. So I've got Iron Head and I've got Close Combat. I could go for Close Combat, but I thought, no, there's a waste of time. Let's go for Iron Head and go for a Flinch. I know it's going to do nothing, and I got it. I was like, great, that stalls another turn out, some extra burn damage. I want to try and put it in range where I just feint it with Close Combat or get a very, very good chance. I did think about going for Terra Flying there, but with some of the Pokemon they had in the back, it wasn't probably the best idea. So I went for a final Close Combat here. I got very, very close to taking it out. They're going to go for Headlong Rush. They got a bit desperate there to feint my Scizor too after that Iron Head flinch. But that was a good result. Very, very good result there because the Tailwind is now gone. Ursaluna is going to have one more turn left, right? So we're going to slide into Metagross here. Now, Metagross does have Trailblaze, and I thought this will be good. I can get the Trailblaze up here, and I might be able to outspeed their last 3 Pokemon. They were very, very fast Pokemon. So Ursaluna's down. So that's 2 solid counters down. I was very, very happy with how this battle is going so far. Now we have the Calyrex. I'm like, this might be it, this is going to be very, very difficult to take out. I've got Assault Vest, but this thing, they haven't Terra'd yet. And I thought, well, if I go Hard Press, that's going to do lots of damage, but they might have a Focus Sash. But I had absolutely nothing to lose here. I had to go for Terra Steel, right? So now we've got the Timmy Terra on Calyrex, obviously. They just want to press their A button and win, right? And they've got Terra Fairies. I'm like, well, at least that's good. It's going to be super effective, Hard Press is going to do tons of damage. It's going to feint them if I can live their attack right. So we got that Terra there. And I don't have any other priority moves after this. It's not like I had Bullet Punch Scizor and Scizor wasn't even alive, or, it's not like I had Bullet Punch anyway. So, we've got an Astral Barrage here from the Calyrex. As you know, Calyrex is a very, very hard-hitting Pokemon. I just lived that. That was a Life Orb Astral Barrage. Holy crap. I even think that was Modest Nature as well. I lived that, and I take out the Calyrex. That was absolutely awesome there. So, that's down 2. I was very, very happy about getting rid of that. It's so broken and overpowered. So Metagross has a little bit of health remaining. I've got 2 Pokemon in the back, but now we've got Koraidon. They also have a Miraidon left after this too. So it was crazy, right? So unfortunately, Koraidon is going to be able to outspeed me. I was going to go for a Psychic Fangs there on the Koraidon. I don't think I would have fainted it, but I would have done some really good damage. I think I would have, done at least 3/4 damage. So bringing in Duraludon here, they've obviously got Collision Course, Koraidon's sort of main move there, and Duraludon is going to get dropped in one shot and outspeed. Obviously, Koraidon's a very powerful Pokemon. My last Pokemon here is going to be Registeel. Now, I had already used up my Terra already, so it's not like I could go Terra fighting, and they just had to press the A button there at the end. But I just want to show you that battle, how well it did. If they didn't have their Trampoline, Koraidon, and Miraidon to fall back on, they definitely would have lost there. They just had so many counters. And I know some of you guys like seeing me lose sometimes, so there you go. That was a completely broken team, but They only won that because they had some of the strongest Pokemon in the game. They scraped the W there. Next battle here, we got a random one, and we got a Gengar lead. This is actually a pretty funny battle. So Gengar, instead of attacking my Beldum, is going to go for Hypnosis. So maybe they're thinking I've got, I don't know, Focus Sash or some sort of troll strategy here with Beldum. I mean, not too many people are going to use a Beldum, right? Now the strategy is going to be Hex on Gengar, and that's going to drop me there. So there's pretty, I don't know if I would have lived a Hex straight up anyway. I was max health, but you know, Gengar's got a lot of special attacks. So anyway, Beldum's down again. We're going to bring in Metang. Metang does have Earthquake, and I thought, look, I could go for Agility here. If it misses, there's a good chance it's going to miss. It's Hypnosis, it's, you know, dodgy accuracy. I can get Agility up and then go for an Earthquake, right? That was my plan anyway. So we got that +2 in speed. I've got Earthquake ready to go here. I don't know if Gengar's going to have a Sash, though, because Gengar can run Sash, but it didn't have a Sash. I'm like, all right, that's good. That's good, getting rid of that. I didn't want my whole team put to sleep, actually. That would have been bad. This is a random battle against Johnny as well. All right, next Pokemon we got is Mimikyu. So Mimikyu, well, I thought I'll go for Earthquake. I'll break its disguise. I mean, really, what is this going to do? Just, I guess, a physical ghost move or something like that. Instead of going for an attacking move, they went for Thunder Waves. I was like, all right. That's cool. So it must be like a support style set there, which is interesting. And now they're going to go for Hex as well. So, oh, they got a special one. That was pretty cool. I didn't expect someone to run a special one, especially a random person. You know, mainly it's just like the Sword Dance Sweat. So that was cool. I like that. So it's like 2 Hex Pokemon. Interesting. Next Pokemon we got is a Weavile. So Weavile commonly has Focus Sash too, but I don't know. We've had 2 Hex Pokemon so far. I was like, what is this going to be? So it's Sword Dance. I'm like, all right, it's a physical set. And it outsped me as well. So I just went for Meteor Mash, and, you know, obviously it had Focus Sash. You know, it's a very, very common item on the Weavile. Now, I can't do anything here. So, like, well, it doesn't really matter what I do. I'm cooked, right? Then they went Dig, and I was like, oh my God. I went Earthquake, and Earthquake hit the Weavile underground. Oh my goodness, they must have been fuming. Oh, they must have been, they would have swept me with Dig otherwise. Oh my, the salt must have been real. Okay, so I can't believe that. In comes the Like, watch, the trolling doesn't end there, right? So they went for Terra Flying on their Electivire, right? And I just went for Earthquake again. Now watch this. They also had Dig on their Electivire, but if your Pokemon has a Terra Flying, Earthquake won't even hit them underneath the ground. So you don't get to see that mechanic very often. You don't get to see it work and then not work in those circumstances. So that was really, really cool actually seeing that. So that is the end of the Metang there. Only on PIMPNITE channel will you say there's cool things, people. All right, we got the Duraludon coming in. Now, Duraludon, well, I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to bait a Motor Drive with Terra Flying, which is a good idea, but I know what they're going to try and do there, so I'm not going to go for that. Sadly, they do have Focus Miss, and I got completely dumpstered there. There's nothing I could have done, so it's a mixed set. Bringing in Metagross. Metagross has good bulk all around. I also have Stone Edge too, if it's going to land. So they're going to go for a Thunder from down under, and it's going to miss. My Stone Edge does connect, and that is going to take out the Electivire. So pretty interesting sort of last couple of plays there. So we've got 2 more Pokemon left, and they've used their Terra. Now they've got Volcarona. So I was actually pretty scared of this. I've got max speed on this. So I was like, well, I mean, I feel like Stone Edge will do a lot, even if they, you know, even, like, it's going to have to do a lot, right? And worse, will have Sash, but I actually outsped that. So I guess they were running Modest or something like that. You know, Metagross has okay speed, but it's nothing like, you know, completely blistering right? So Volcarona's down, and then we have a Salamence coming in with Dragon Dance. So Dragon Dance Salamence, that actually, that actually rhymes pretty well. So I went for Hard Press. Hard Press does good damage there. I don't really know. I was like, is this going to use Earthquake? What's it going to use? And I don't want to, I noticed that it had Moxie, it's going to probably have Moxie, so I didn't want it to have Moxie. So instead, they're going to go for a Fly. I was like, what? Fly? So Fly does a lot of damage there to my Scizor. I went for the agility here because I wanted to be able to, outsped that. Plus, there was nothing I could do. And then I went for acrobatics, and acrobatics failed to take it out, and they're going to fly in the sky again. So I thought, all right, well, we're going to swap out the Scizor here. I've got my Registeel in the back, so Registeel obviously is going to be able to resist everything. I assume they would have used Earthquake already if they had it right, unless they've got like a hidden move on there. So they had Iron Head, right? So I assume they got Fly, Dragon Claw and Iron Head, right? And Dragon Dance. That's their moveset. So I'm able to live that one and take him out with a Disrespect Body Press. And that is the end of the battle there. But thank you to my random opponent. That Weavile and Electric, like that made me laugh so hard. It's interesting to see those interactions there. Some cool sets too. All right, let's get on to battle number 5. This is a random battle against Tasso, and we have a Whimsicott lead. Excuse me, I just got to get comfortable here. Now, Whimsicott generally always sets up like Tailwind or, something along those lines. Now, sadly here, Beldum actually got a special attack drop from Moonblast, which sucked because that actually managed to live. Unless it had, I say unless it had like a Focus Sash or something like that, which it could have. So, Moonblast may have stopped the one-hit KO, but typically a lot of people do put Sash on their, especially in singles, they do put Sash on the Whimsicott. If it's not carrying something like Leftovers, the Hide Behind Sub, those sort of things with Leech Seed. So I'd say that probably had a Sash. So anyway, it's a double KO. They set up the Tailwind. In comes Luna, the Latios. I'm going to bring in Metang here. Now, Latios has got some good bulk there. Some very good defensive bulk. So I thought I need to get my speed up here first. So Aura Sphere is not going to be able to do a lot of damage here. And Ice Punch does a little bit more damage than I actually anticipated. So okay. Latios doesn't have a lot to hit Metang with outside of Aura Sphere. Unless it had like a fire move. So Aura Sphere seems to be like a 5-hit KO. Maybe 4 if there is a critical hit in the mix. So I thought I'll get my speed up after I seen the, the Ice Punch damage. So at this stage, it is a 2-hit KO in this range. And I thought maybe I could go Ice Punch and then Meteor Mash again. That could be good. So I went for Ice Punch here. Now, there was one more turn of Tailwind. And that was due to wear off as well. So I knew that, and I knew I'd be able to actually outspeed the Latios on the last turn here, right? So I thought about it, I was like, I could go Meteor Mash, but what if Meteor Mash misses? So I was like, I changed my mind there. I wanted to get rid of that. So Latios is down, which is good. Now we have got Flutterlame. So Flutterlame is going to be pretty scary, but I noticed it didn't have, I was like, I wonder if it'll be able to outspeed me still, and it did. So no boost of energy there. But Fluttermane's very fast, so that didn't really surprise me. So I thought, this is gold, right? We got the light metal ability team. I'm going to go for a light metal heavy slam. So Mystical Fire does loads of damage to me. I'm like, this is content. Here we go. And I got a light metal heavy slam because even with light metal, Duraludon is still heavy and Fluttermane's a literal ghost. So it did like tons of damage anyway. So I'm going to pivot on Shadow, right? So now we got Haxorus sliding in here. This thing actually was pretty, pretty scary. It was doing tons of damage. So I'm thinking, gee, I wonder what they're going to do to me, like an Earthquake or something. But then they went Terra Dragon. I was like, Terra Dragon? Like, do you not have any coverage, right? But then they use Outrage. I was like, this is probably still going to do a fair bit of damage. I mean, obviously Duraludon was going to faint there. So they've just locked themselves into their Dragon Stab move. Clearly they don't have a lot to hit Steel-type Pokemon with. So bringing in Scizor here, I thought, well, I could get an Acrobatics off, I could get an Agility up, then go Iron Head. I knew that this would probably outspeed me, So the Outrage does a lot of damage. Like, that's 3/4 of my health, virtually, and I got the Agility up. So I thought, all right, I either go for damage here with Close Combat, or I try and flinch with Iron Head. I feel like they're going to do, around the same. So going for Iron Head, good, really, really good damage there, but I didn't get a flinch, which sucks. So they're going to be going for an Outrage, and that is going to be, the end of Scizor. So I was like, damn, like this is doing some good damage. So I've got Registeel left, and we've got a Confusion here. I've also got Metagross too. So I thought, all right, I'll bring in Metagross. Metagross should be able to tank this, you know, should be able to tank at least 2 of these, right? I do have a sweeping set, so like, you know, it'll be interesting to see how much damage it does. So the Haxorus does not hit itself for confusion. The tiny, look how tiny, why is Haxorus so tiny for? Anyway, Haxorus the tiny does like nearly 3/4 to Metagross. I was like, damn. So that was like Adamant and, that might have been Adamant, Choice Band, Terra Dragon. Like, that was doing some crazy damage there. Or at least Jolly and Choice Spam, because I only use 1 move. Next Pokemon is Diancie. You don't get to see that very... where is it? It's gone. I thought it was a person there for a second. So, Diancie's got to get its cheeks absolutely clapped. And it's going to have Rocky Helmet, so I take a bit of damage there. But damn, that would have done like 1,000,000 damage. So it was like 4 times super effective. Last Pokemon is Goodra. Goodra morning, everyone. Goodra morning. How's your day going, everyone? Is it good? Is it bad? Tell me how it is in the comment section. I always like to hear how you're all going. Sorry, I couldn't help myself there. So, Goodra is going to have Gooey, and it's going to go for a Surf here. Now, Metagross lives on 3 health, but since I gooified myself, my speed dropped, so Goodra is able to outspeed me there. This is definitely invested in bulk as well, because that Surf, you know, definitely should have fainted if they had max special attack. So Registeel, once again, is my last Pokemon here. Now, I did save my Terra, and I thought, well, this is perfect. I can go for a Terra Fighting. I know they're not going to go for a Dragon-type move. They're probably just going to go for a Water-type move, right, against a Steel-type Pokemon. Unless they've got a Ground move on there as well or something. And they're just going to go for a Surf here. But with max health and special defense, even a crit wasn't going to do anything. So Body Press is going to take out the Goodra, which is good. And that is the end of the battle. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Another cool battle there. That was pretty funny. We got a light metal heavy slam KO again. Don't you love that? And let's go on to battle number 69 here. So this was a pretty funny battle. All right, this is a battle against Molotov, and we do have a, I think we got some sort of theme team going here as well. So the first Pokemon, this was absolutely unbelievable. The bad luck that I got in this battle. I know I've said that in past battles, but this was some really bad luck. Like, watch this, right? So Beldum isn't exactly the greatest matchup in the world for a Slowking, let's be real. So I had to swap into Metang. It's going to use Trick here. So I was like, that's going to be the end of my Everlight. That kind of sucks, right? So Slowking gave me a Pokédoll. I was like, oh, hell no. So I got rid of my Everlight and got given a Pokédoll. So this isn't a very good start. I'm getting trolled already. So I'm going to be going for an Earthquake here. Earthquake, well, it's not going to do much, right? It's quite obviously very, very bulky and invasive. So Slowking is going to set up the Rain Dance. So it's got Trick and Rain Dance. I don't know why I hit run. I accidentally hit run there, you know, after I got that Pokemon. Almost salty rage. So Slowking's going to swap out there, and we have got the Dragapult coming in. So I thought, well, I'll just keep attacking you. I don't know what their strategy is. So in comes Dragapult. I've got Ice Punch. It's ready to go, and I've got Agility. So I thought, well, I'll go Agility. I don't know whether I'll outspeed this, though. It depends if it's a speedy set or like a support set. I mean, a support set can still be very fast due to its base speed, but if everything is invested in speed, then no. So I hurt myself for confusion there, which sucks. And I went for Agility again. Now, this seems to be some sort of scumbag support set because it used Infestation, so I'm locked in now. I can't swap. So Metang is trying to go for Agility, and then I hit myself twice in confusion. I'm like, damn, that's pretty unlucky, right? And I was getting hit by the Infestation, you know. There was like an infestation of, I don't know, rats or something. I don't know, whatever, or bugs. Here comes a Dragon Breath, like, oh, that's just mean, right? And then I didn't get paralyzed. I'm like, yes, this is really, really good, right? I can finally do something. And I hit myself 3 times in a row of confusion. I'm like, are you serious? This is bull. Then the Infestation is going to put me on low health here. So Dragapult can virtually use whatever move here, and it's going to finish you off a Dragon Breath. So that was just plain unlucky there. So I thought, all right, the only good thing about that is all the bad luck's going to be out of the way now, you know? Like, what should I swap in against them? I've got Scizor, I've got Beldum, I've got Metagross. I thought, well, I'll go for Beldum because Beldum can unload the Steel Beam, and that'll do some really good damage there. And I know that I can live all these attacks. Then he uses Hex, and Hex, I just lived that. And I went for Steel Beam, and Steel Beam missed. I was like, are you serious? So I fainted myself, and, Dragapult, I don't know whether they had, it probably did have Bright Powder. There's probably some scummy item on there. So I went to Metagross. Metagross is flying now, and I've got to do something here. I've got Terra Steel, and I thought, I either go Terra Steel Hard Press, or I go for a Psychic Fang. So I decided to go for a Timmy Terra here. I was like, oh, that's it. I don't want any of my Pokemon like feigning to like just to BS, right? So here comes a Dragon Breath. It's going to do no damage, and of course the first one that was used on Metagross paralyzes. So I'm like, oh no. So I couldn't. Wait, I didn't even attack that turn either. Oh, come on. So I'm having a real good time here. So Infestation is now going to lock me in. So like, all right, now I know what they're going to do. They're going to use Confuse Ray next turn. But thankfully, I do get one hard press off at the last, and it lived on a tiny little bit of health there. I was like, come on. I need one more attack to feint this thing. So Infestation is locking me in. I can't swap. I can go for any other attack though. But the thing is, I know Confuse Ray is coming here, right? So I have to be able to get through Parafusion, and I've got to survive their attack. So here comes the Hex. Obviously, it's going to double instead of Confuse Ray. I'm like, oh, this is good, right? And I was finally able to get a KO there. Finally, that was my first KO after what, like, I don't know, 10 minutes or something like that. So that's the end of Dragon Ball. Thank goodness. All right, our next Pokemon to come in is going to be Wugtrio, the absolute unit. So Wugtrio isn't exactly what you call bulky. Now, I've got Trailblaze, and I've got Stone Edge and Psychic Fang. So any of these moves are going to do like tons of damage. So Wugtrio is going to go for a triple dive here. So triple dive, as the name suggests, hits 3 times. And I actually lived on 1 health. I'm like, yes, I live. So I could finish Wugtrio off, right? And I got paralyzed. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. That's like dangling a carrot in front of a horse, and then, when the horse gets to it, you keep moving and it keeps walking. That's messed up, right? So I've got that 1 HP. I was pretty salty here, so like I can't do anything. I go, what's the point of swapping my Metagross out? So now it's going to finish me off with a single dive there. I wish that Wugtrio was, when it first came out in Scarlet and Violet, I was like, oh, this is going to be cool. I can't wait to use this. And then it learned like no moves, and it was like, its stats are really quite bad. So I was disappointed. I wish I got some more, Anyway, that's how it is. So we're going to slip into Duraludon in here. I do have T-Bolt, and I thought, well, there's not much it can do to me. Then it unloads a final Gambit, and I lived on 3 health. Whew. That was close. That was real close. Next Pokemon to come in is going to be Lapras. So Lapras, I was like, man, I'm not going to be able to feint this. I just went for Thunderbolt. Also, this was recorded when my computer was dying too. I had a couple of battles like that, so you might see a couple of graphical glitches in this battle. Lapras is going to feint me, but that's cool. I expected to feint to that, so I thought, all right, we'll go into Scizor. I've got Close Combat. I can go Close Combat, and I can activate my White Herb, and then I can use Acrobatics at full base power, so that would be pretty good. So Lapras, I felt, was not going to live that. Scizor was max attack and speed too, and Scizor's got a lot of attack. That was also Adamant Nature too, so hitting really hard. Using Scizor with Light Metal as well. So next Pokemon we've got is going to be Garchomp. I was like, what is this set going to be? So I've got Agility, then it's a special flamethrower set. I'm like, no! So Scizor's going to get cooked. Since it was 4 times super effective, even a special Garchomp was going to be able to take it out. So all I had left was the homie Registeel. It's like deja vu again. So I thought, all right. And now something was funny about this battle, right? But I'm not going to reveal it just yet. So this was actually my very, very first battle I had with this Light Metal team. So I'd never had any other battles with it. So this was the first one. I just want to say that now. Hey, it'll make sense. So I've got my Iron Defenses up here. I thought, well, special Garchomp, even with a Flamethrower, is not going to do anything to me at all. So now the Slowking is going to go for a trick and it's gonna give my Registeel an Everlize. Like, yeah, I'm gonna get that 1.5 times boost in defense. So imagine that Registeel actually got that boost, and they got rid of my Chesto Berry there. So I was like, all right, well, there's no way I'm gonna go to sleep here. I'm just gonna set up my body presses, and I'm gonna spam body press on Slowking. Even with it being resistant to it, I know that I can eventually get through it. So I've got 3 of those iron defenses up now. I'm confident body press can be like a 2-hit KO. But then the Slowking started setting up iron defenses too. I'm like, what is this set? I don't know what this set is. So I've got body press, like, that's it. It's time to body press, and it does absolutely nothing at all. So Slowking is setting up does this have an attacking move? It's used Rain Dance, Trick, and Iron Defense. What is this set? I don't think it's used it. No, it's got, I was going to say, where's its other move? So Psychic does nothing, which is good. Like, that would have been bad. Imagine if I had, if I went for Terra Fighting, that would have been bad. That would have been very, very bad. So Psychic is going to, I guess they're going to try and go for a special defense drop here. But the funny thing is, that was never, ever going to happen. There was no way Slowking was ever going to get a special defense drop. And I'll tell you, it's a funny story. I'll reveal, it'll be soon revealed, right? Because I was super worried. I'm like, what if this thing gets like special defense drops like over and over? Because I've had some really bad luck here, right? So Slowking is, keep hammering me and peppering me with the Psychic there, and I finally am actually able to take it out on the next turn. Like, at last, I used so much of that. PP up. So Registeel is finally going to take the Slowking out after 1,000 years. Man, imagine getting body pressed by a Registeel. And the last Pokemon is the Garchomp. So Flamethrower is going to get powered down the rain, unless they've got a ground type move. So like, all right, here's Pikachu. Pikachu went for a Thunder from down under, and it did nothing. I actually, surprisingly, oh, poor Pikachu. Pikachu just turned into Squashachu, and I'm surprised I didn't get paralyzed there. Our last Pokemon is Garchomp. Now, remember when I said Psychic could never ever drop my stats? I forgot I still had clear body on this, and I was getting absolutely roasted for not having light metal on this set too. So I got exposed for having clear body instead of light metal. I just thought that was absolutely hilarious. Then I changed my ability afterwards. Anyway, people, let's get on to the very final battle here. That was a funny battle. I had some bad luck though, you got to admit. This battle I only included virtually for one reason. Watch this, right? You're never going to see this again. I have a battle. I'm not sure my trainer's name. I'm versing. Someone can translate, please. That would be awesome. So we got a Ho-Oh versus a Beldum, only on PIMPNITE's channel here, right? Watch this. This is pure and utter uncensored content, right? So we got that Terra Water Beldum. I mean, they used Sacred Fire. It did donkeys. Now, this is the battle I actually did something apart from using Steel Beam, and I went for Terra Blast Water here on the Ho-Oh, right? Ho-Oh gets dropped by Terra Blast Choice Spect Water. So Beldum took out the little homie, had 0 IVs and a hindering nature. So I don't think they were very happy about losing to a Terra Water Beldum, so they brought their Electro Miraidon in there and took out my Beldum. Oh, that was so funny. I've never taken a Ho-Oh out with a Beldum before. Like, that's a life achievement, right? You're never going to see that again. So swapping in the Metang here. Obviously, we got Electro Drift on the Metang. Metang doesn't live that very well. I actually didn't even expect it to live really. So I just went for Earthquake, and Earthquake doesn't take out the Miraidon. It gets pretty close. Then they went for a Hyper Beam, and I don't know why they went for a Hyper Beam, and I just went for Earthquake. I didn't even think it was going to live that turn. So I got a 1 HP live on Hyper Beam. So I just wanted to show you guys this battle to experience. I had to experience this battle so you guys can experience it too, because I have no idea what was going on. So in comes Dragapult. They're going to go for a Phantom Force. And they're going to be disappearing, right? And they're going to, finish off my Metang there. I couldn't do much anyway. I just went for another agility, so, because I outsped them. So bringing in the Duraludon now, and I just went for Draco Meteor, and they must have gone for Dragon Tail. So Dragon Tail definitely is not going to be good against Duraludon because I've got a Dragon type move, right? So that's the end of the Dragapult. Our next Pokemon here is going to be Goldengo. So I went for Focus Energy. I was like, Focus Energy Thunderbolt. She'll do a lot of damage, right? Focus Miss actually misses, which is great. You know, that would have dominated me. And Goldengo gets dropped. So that was excellent. We have 4 Pokemon down, and we got 2 more left, right? Next Pokemon's going to be Urshifu. I went for Draco Meteor again. Urshifu's cheeks got thoroughly clapped, and that's going to faint too. So we've got like this last minute sweep here of Duraludon. Our last Pokemon is going to be Dragonite. I just went for Draco Meteor here, right? That almost took it out. Like, Multiscale saved its backside there. We're not going to talk about Mega Dragonite. Now Dragonite's going to go for a Dragon Dance, increasing its speed. Dragonite is going to go for an Outrage now. I guess that was their most powerful attack. And I lived on 17 health, and I disrespected them with a light metal heavy slap. Alright, that's the end of the battles, guys. That's enough disrespect for today. I'll catch you tomorrow for another CT. Peace out.